everyone. How are we all doing? I know my logo's up on the screen and not my face, but good to see you all here. I'm going to take that out of my ear. I have Khang Starr in my ear. We'll be speaking to him in just a little while because I know a lot of you are here to chat with him. How's everyone doing today? I hope we're all doing well. It's been a busy day getting set up as always for the live stream, so it's really nice to come and chill out for a little bit and have a beer. I think it's time for an early beer this time. How's everyone doing? Hey Jan, and naturally JB, good to see you on there. Grosh, how are you, sir? Dona? Sebastian? Lots of people on at the moment, and I'm sure quite a few more are going to join in just a little while. Definitely want to see our chat. I love having a chat with Khang Starr. I think the last time we spoke was January on a live stream, and yeah, well, cheers. A lot's happened since then, actually, so quite a bit to talk about. Should be good. Yeah, and Mrs. ChilliChump in the corner.
Hey everyone.
Oh, your microphone's not on. Sorry about that.
Shucks.
Yeah, I know not everyone can share a beer with me at the moment, but it is 5 o'clock here, so I think it's well past time for a beer for me. But join me with a coffee or a Coke. It's all good too. Daniel, I'm not a Brit. I still get those questions. I thought by now people would know where I'm from. I am from South Africa, or Zimbabwe as well, but definitely not British. Been here a long time though. Mrs. ChilliChump is British. Or is that who they said shucks, not me?
Oh, I don't know. No, they're asking to see Mum. But...
Mrs. ChilliChump's mum is here at the moment. We had a very busy weekend so far. We've been packaging lots of parcels. I have bags of them back there. So if you guys did place an order over the weekend, thank you so much. It is immensely appreciated. The Peri Peri Cherry. I think Mrs. ChilliChump has stolen a few of these already because she really likes it.
Definitely need to.
We've got some Blazing Buffalo back in store as well, and Inyami Salt, and there's a couple other things in there as well. So, it's quite a big thing for me because obviously the move that we made to come here to Lincolnshire, to the new place, we did that back in March, and the whole point of that was to expand what I'm doing, obviously grow a lot more, be able to do a lot more experiments there and have a bit of fun with the chilies, but also, be able to support that by getting the business up and running even more so than it was before, being able to scale up and things like that. And this weekend was the first time that I was able to put anything in the store based on what I've packaged and bottled in the new place. And that's a massive milestone for us because we've been working so hard to get the kitchen up and ready, get it to a point that it's, safe from a health and safety perspective, and it also is, up to my standards as well. But yeah, we're there. First weekend of sales has gone really well, and it gives me a lot of hope and a lot of positivity about it. So really pleased, and yeah, thank you. Cheers to all of you. Grosh is asking for the ChilliChump shop link. Grosh, I think that's something that's like probably your first your first favorite on your Google bookmarks. Droctopus, I think that's what your name, or Dr. Octopus. Sorry, I need some more beer. Dr. Octopus. I appreciate that. I get a lot of people say that I've been an inspiration, and obviously the man we're about to speak to in a bit, he's been an inspiration for me and for a lot of you as well. But it means a lot to me, and I'm not going to speak for Khang. He can speak for himself. But it means a lot to us that people are actually watching our videos, and to get a bit of inspiration, to get a bit of joy, just a bit of a smile when you're watching our videos. That means a heck of a lot to us. So thank you. Okay, I'm not going to delay too much longer because I want to get chatting with Khang. So we're going to pull him into the chat in just a sec, and love to introduce my guest, Khang. Let me just pull him in. Hopefully this works. There we have him. Khang, can you hear us?
Yes, Sean. Good morning.
Good morning. I hope everyone else can hear as well. Just let us know in the comments, please. Let's see. Don Pandemoniac, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm hoping people can hear us. I can see you at least, so that's a good thing. There we go. Thank you, naturally, JB. Loud and clear. Excellent. So, great to have you back again, Khang. Like I was saying to the guys earlier, it was January the last time that you're on. We've had an entire season, actually, because we are coming to the end of our season now. You're in a very similar growing zone to myself. So how is it going, your season? How has it gone, and what you're doing at the moment?
The season's been good. In the beginning, it was a struggle. I didn't have a lot of time in the garden. So for the past probably 2 months, I started to do more work in the garden, and now it's looking really nice. So I'm very happy right now.
Well, just for the end of the season, just when everything starts getting colder.
Yeah, I think we may have 3 to 4 more weeks. So my plants are like pushing out pods like crazy, So this time of the year when the temperatures are really nice, they're just starting to go nuts. And I have pods all over the place. I did a few updates on my channel, so I think I'll do a few more before the season ends.
You're in a better position than I am. I mean, I've had a tough season for a few reasons, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But one thing that's interesting to me, people always ask me what growing zone I'm in. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, in the UK, we don't do growing zones the same way as America does. Mm-hmm. But when I looked at what your growing zone was, it actually is meant to be the same as what I'm at. But it's very different. At the moment, I mean, we've had the heating on for the last couple of nights. It is cold.
And a fire.
And we have had a fire going in the lounge. It is getting cold. Outside, we get the occasional day where it's still, I think it's mid-60s, 70s in Fahrenheit. So about, 15, 20 degrees Celsius. But yeah, we're definitely at the back end of our season here. So I'm guessing you probably just have a drier season maybe than ours. You don't have as much rain as us. Is that right?
Right. Yes, you're right. We don't have that much rain. And when it does rain, it rained a lot.
Yeah. Well, ours, it just settles in. We've had a couple of days, actually. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. It was bucketing down. It was 10 o'clock at night. I was up the ladder trying to clear my gutters because it was just pouring. But we get floods because of that. But most of the time, though, it'll start raining, and that'll be it for the next 2 weeks. It'll just be raining. And that's just painful because that means you get no sunshine and things like that. So it's, not great. But yeah, definitely coming to the end of my season. I've had when we last spoke, I was in my last place. I was in my last house, and we had spoken about my plan, what I was trying to do, move to the bigger place. And we were halfway through that process. It was still touch and go. There were still problems with the lawyers and things like that. But then finally we got that all sorted out in March. We moved in. But that also meant, obviously, I start my chilies in January. And now, March is typically when I'm thinking about potting up to final pot size, end of March, early April. But I was just moving house, and I had no greenhouse. And so when we got here, that was a big rush. I think it was within the first 3 days. I received my greenhouse on the day that we moved in, so in parts. And then the first 3 days I had the base built. So we had some concrete laid down. I managed to sweet talk a builder into helping us out, thankfully. And he got the base built, and I put that greenhouse up pretty quickly. But it couldn't hold all my plants. So there was massive delays. And it ended up causing massive problems. It's pretty good because we have good seasons. I mean, you've been growing for a long time, so you know what to do. You know how to get good yields. You know how to get healthy plants. You have the occasional problems maybe, but when you're forced into a situation where you're potting up too late, where you're doing things that you wouldn't normally do, it kind of proves a point to you about why you do these things. And I've learned a lot. So I'm trying to take the positives out of this experience. It's not been the best.
Yeah. I've been following your videos, so I saw your new place. It's very, very nice.
Oh, thank you.
I follow the greenhouse setup and all that. You did a great job on that one. Like, wow, that's a lot of filming.
It's a ton of filming, and it's not finished yet. It's actually my dad's. He's coming around to visit me. I've got the final part of the build of the greenhouse to actually do. It's the greenhouse. The big greenhouse is 30 by 20 foot, so each side is 30 feet. And I have staging up on the one side, and I've got staging for the other side. I just haven't put it up yet. I haven't had a chance. So that's what I'll be doing this week, and then the build is done. After that, then I have to set up my irrigation and my automation, because as you can imagine, trying to water 300 plants. It's not a lot of fun when you're having to do that, especially twice a day,
Yeah.
So that's a big project for the next couple of months. Definitely be filming all of that. I know there's a lot of interest. Quite a few of the people that are following what I do, they're doing automation themselves. So they're quite interested in what I'm going to do. I've got some interesting plans there. I've changed, again, learned from my last place a few things that will make it just that much better in terms of the drip irrigation that I'm putting in and the system that I've planned out. So it should be good. So keep watching. I know you don't really do a lot of automation. I'm surprised, though. I'm guessing it's a time thing.
Yeah, it is a time thing, and I have 2 young kids, so and a bunch of hobbies. It's just, I'm like into everything, so there's very little time left, and it's just, I want to do automation, but my garden is not that big, so it's okay for me to just do it hand water, or schedule water on the sprinkler.
Yeah. No, I can't imagine if I had kids, if I could do half the things I do. I mean, I barely find time to do the things I need to do now. If I suddenly had another responsibility, well, Mrs. ChilliChump would divorce me for the first place. She doesn't want children, but nah. It's got to be tough. I know quite a few of my patrons are actually parents, and how they keep their big greenhouses running with managing a family, and that it's got to be tough. But let's talk a little bit about. I have a few questions that some of my patrons have asked. Let me bring these up. And to be honest, I'm being a bit selfish here because I'd like to know the answers as well. So Robert Connor, he asks, how do you decide on your crosses, and what is your success failure rate?
Wow, that's a good question. A lot of people ask that. The way I select my crosses is they have to look good and they have to taste good. And those are the 2 things that I really go after. And basically, I just grow a bunch of plants, and I pick out the ones that are most productive, the prettiest, and the tastiest, in my opinion. And then I make sure they're compatible, and then I cross the 2. The success rate is very, very low because it depends on what time of the year you do it and where you do it. If you do it inside, the success rate is very high. If you do it outside, it's very, very low. So you're just gonna have to do a lot of crosses, and then out of 10, maybe 2 of them will work. But inside, if you do 10, probably 7 of them would take.
So that, I mean, to go further on that question, obviously, I don't know if you watched my video from Friday. It's taken me 2 years to finally get a viable chili, a ripe chili off a cross I've been working on with lemon, ahi lemon drop and a peri peri. And it's been painful because the 2 species don't really cross very easily. And I knew that going in, but that's what made it more of a challenge. So there's 2 questions there. So number 1 is, obviously I chose the lemon drop because there's certain qualities of it I liked, and I chose the peri peri because that's one of my favorite chilies. But when you're doing it, you're saying you're doing it for taste. Is that because both of those chilies, you love the taste of them and you want to see what they do together? That's essentially what you're doing, right?
Yes, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So your success rate, you're saying you have a low success rate of 2 out of 10. Obviously when we film videos, we don't show every little thing because it would be a very boring video. The video where I showed the crossing of that chili, I probably crossed about 60 different chilies. I had a success of about 4 that came through, 2 that were viable, the others died, right? So very low success rate. But one of them was this one, and another one is a super hot cross that I've been working on for a little while. It's just the success rate after you've crossed, so once you get viable seeds, you know, what is it then for yourself? Or do you get 100% success? Once you've got a viable chili with those seeds, you grow them on, you get a plant that is healthy?
Not always. Sometimes once you have it successfully crossed, then the pepper will produce seeds that are just not viable at all. And you know, that's the reason why you have to do so many. So the last cross that I did, I took around 150 seeds to put in the soil, and out of that, only one came up. And so it's a big challenge because sometimes you just, you know, you thought the it's gonna work, so you put 5 seeds, you wait 3 weeks, nothing come up. Then you do 10 seeds, you wait 3 weeks, nothing comes up. So you dump the whole bucket of seeds in there and just pray for one to come up.
Yeah, I had the same. I mean, I conveniently forget about that. I mean, it was difficult enough doing the cross. Once I got a pepper that I got seeds from it, I planted about 20. I got one come up out of those 20, and that one has been a pain. It's done mass flower drop for no reason whatsoever. I just suddenly came in one day, every flower just dropped off. No change, no difference. But decided I didn't want to keep its flowers anymore. I've had lots of interesting things on it as well. My first pepper that came through on there was purple, even though the final pepper that I have now is actually red. So, you know, little things like that, which is the fun part of it, right? You get to see those mutations. But yeah, no, it's good fun. And if people are watching, if they're interested in doing crossing, it doesn't have to be ridiculously difficult. Just, you know, the easiest way to do it is start off with like 2 of the same species, 2 Capsicum frutescens, 2 Capsicum annuum, or 2 Capsicum chinense. Give that a go. See how you get on with that. And then decide on trying to do something a bit more complex.
Right.
But it is good fun. It's rewarding.
Those are great advice, because if they're compatible, they're easier to cross, because then you get seeds that are always viable. And then when you grow them, they will always come up. So if you crossbreed like you did and I did in the past, and actually I did recently, and the same thing happened to mine, you know, everything dropped. All of the flowers. I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds of flowers just dropped. But then the funny thing is, once the temperature just cooled down a little bit, all of the flowers are sticking right now. So it could be because they're picky, you know, in the growing conditions. I'm not sure, but you know, after all the drops right now, most of them are sticking. So you know, 3 months ago, I get 1 pot, and now 3 weeks ago, I get like 50 pots already.
I'm actually seeing something pretty similar with my cross. There's a lot of pods coming through now. I've got a lot of ripe coming through. And also I switched it. It was in hydro for the F1. And I think maybe it might have been a bit too warm in there, even though it was, you know, 22 degrees, which is a standard for what I'm growing in hydro. But I took it out of that, put it in soil, put it out in the greenhouse where there's more fluctuating temperatures, and it seems to have handled that a lot better.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I think, yeah, they just get picky, don't they? So, damn nuisances. I had a question though. So, you know, you've done quite a few crosses now, right? And the KS Lemon Starburst, which I've grown and is a beautiful pod. Would you say that's the one you're most proud of, or is there another one?
Yes, that is definitely one of them. But actually, all 3 of them, you know, the Lemon Starburst, the Peach Starkiss, and the Scarlet Rose, they all come from the same, you know, family line, and they just, you know, different variation. And those are, yes, I'm very proud of those 3s, because they taste great, they look great, they're very, very productive. So yeah, one of the best crosses I've done up to date.
Excellent. No, the KS Lemon Starburst is really good. I'm trying to get a lot of seeds, because that's a big challenge. I think in the UK especially, people are battling to get seeds, and they're dying to get some. I see them on your Pepper Lovers forum, on Pepper Lovers Facebook group. There's a lot of people just begging for seeds, and there's a lot of kind people on there that are sending them out, but there's still a lot of people that want to get hold of some. So I'll try and do my part, and I'll try and isolate some, but this year has not been the best year for growing for me, so I've got enough for myself, I think. But that's about it. But yeah, next year hopefully we'll be able to send some around.
I just did a new, not a new cross, but I regrew one of the older pods, and I'll show you, Sean. Like, So this one here, if you can see it,
Oh yeah.
it it there's an orange variation and there's a yellow variation. So the orange seeds was what I used to grow it, and it came out yellow this year. They look exactly the same.
Is that reverting maybe?
I think that might be, but the shape, the size, the pods, the growing habit, the plant looked exactly the same because I have it right next to each other. But one is orange and one is yellow. And I mean, they're identical.
Yeah.
So
I think we're gonna have to swap some seeds soon. That'd
and
be great.
this one is called the orange flame. I called it the orange flame. I grew it many seasons ago, and I grow it indoors, and that's how I get so many different variations because I grow them in small systems, which
Yeah.
allow me to do a lot of experimenting inside during the wintertime, so I can rush the generations. So people have been wondering, like, how did you get so many generations so quickly? And that is thankful to hydro and indoor growing and growing in small, areas and small cups and stuff. Because you don't need a plant that gives you 50 fruits. You can get like 5
Yeah.
and get seeds for those to grow again and again. So every 4 to 5 months, I get a new generation to grow.
That's kind of my plan. I'm trying to think it through at the moment. There were a few suggestions. I was chatting with a few of my patrons earlier, well, today, yesterday as well, about how am I going to accelerate the generations. And yeah, the fact of the matter is you need to keep the root size small, right? If
Yes.
all your plant is doing is growing massive root balls, then that's where it's going to focus its energy. I do want to do it in hydro, but it'll have to be small systems. So I might
Yes.
follow your cracky method. I've never done that before because obviously I have my reservations about it, but there's obvious success there. But definitely it's about keeping small plants and just pushing the plant to throw out some fruit. So I will be doing that. I'll be giving it a go and I will document it and see how it goes. But yeah, I definitely want to get to at least F3 before I'm going to feel happy with this plant. I don't want to go through what I've been through the last 2 years. 2 years for a cross is too long for F1.
Yes, because in the traditional sense, if you grow it outdoors, you can only get one generation per season. So that's basically one generation per year. Sometimes I get 3 generations per year because I push the small systems. And, I have one sitting in my office. I have a few sitting in my tent, 4 or 5 sitting on my second tent. That's the reason also, something responsible for having so many different variations in colors, because, eventually down the line, sometimes they revert back to the original color or they just shift to a new color.
Yeah.
And so that's how I get so many different variations from the same cross.
Oh. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do that during the winter. I think I'm going to have some time to do that, but definitely want to set up some small hydro systems to do that. So we'll see how that goes. I've seen there's a bunch of questions coming through. Caroline is making notes. So let's ask a couple questions here, and we'll see what we get through. So Grolsch asks, would a Nagamoric and a Hurtberry cross successfully? I mean, I think, well, I'll let you answer if you want, but it's all down to that chart, which species are going to be able to successfully have fertile seeds, right? What is a Hurtberry? Is that a Chinense?
I think a Hurtberry is a cross somebody made. It may be a Chinense. So if it is a Chinense, it would definitely cross with a Naga.
I'm always hesitant on crossing early hybrids, crosses with something else, because you just there's no, you don't know what you're going to get at the end of the day, right? Which genes are going to come through. But it should cross though. I think the Hurtberry, you're right. I think it is a Chinense.
I've done many early hybrids, crossing it with something else. It worked just fine as long as they're both compatible.
Oh, it'll work, but
yes,
you don't know what you're going to get, right?
Right. Yeah.
is one of the recessive genes from the cross going to come through into this new cross?
Right. Yeah.
One that maybe you don't like. Yeah. I guess if you want a surprise, it's great. Yeah. Here's a question which is interesting because I have my methods, but how do you isolate your chilies for your seeds?
If I grow them really close to each other, I have these isolation bags all you have to do is put the bag on top of one branch and only collect pods from that plant, from that branch. And
okay, so similar to what I'm doing. I use
it's the easiest way.
organza bags. That's what I've been using. I've realized using the smaller, because I used to use the smaller ones, putting it over a single flower, and that's not ideal. So I use bigger bags now, cover, like you say, a branch or quite a few flowers. So it's interesting. I'd be interested to see how the big seed vendors, how they do it, because I don't think that that's a viable method for them. They must do isolation cages like people do with tomatoes, maybe.
I've seen a few bigger seeds places where they isolate by putting a whole tent over the group of chilies.
Yeah,
I think that's probably how they did it, but not sure.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult when you've got like 80 different varieties. That's a lot of tents. So Adrian asked another question. This is about cloning. This is something I haven't really done in the past, and I keep getting asked, "Well, why don't you clone your plants? Then you get a head start to your season." But I like growing from seed. There's something about that, right? But how do you decide on what to clone and in what order? So what gets cloned with what? He did say what's the male, what's the female, but I don't know if that's necessarily the right terminology.
I think maybe when he talks about cloning, it could be a propagation. Because that's what I usually do every season. Normally, I'll struggle to limit the amount of plants that I grow each season, and so I'll just grow one plant of something, and it turned out to be one of the best variety of that season. And so I was like, wow, I should have started a few more, and without starting over from seeds, I just cut a branch off, take it inside, put it into hydro, they root it. And I boost the growth with hydro because it grows very, very quickly in hydro. And once it's ready, I take it back outside and put it into soil, And then I do it for a few branches. It gives you kind of like a head start from starting seeds over. And plus, you get the same exact fruit, that that it's going to be exactly that.
Okay. So yeah, I think he might be thinking about something else. Maybe he's confusing the two, because you're cloning directly. You're taking the branch, cloning it directly in solution, right? You're not cloning it by connecting it onto another branch.
Oh, that I think
I can't think of the name.
Was called grafting. I did
grafting. Yeah, grafting is interesting, but again, it's people think that's another way to cross peppers, but
yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. Okay. So we have got a couple of videos. I did tell you about this before. Last time you actually on the live stream when I ate that 7-pop bubblegum and
yes, I saw that.
Wow, that was painful. But I gave a challenge out to people to submit videos to me of them eating something hot. So I did get a few videos, thankfully. Thank you guys for sending those in. So we'll play a couple now. Give you a bit of a break so you can refill your coffee there, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Paul and Adrian, and we are here to eat some Reaper crossed with the Douglas peppers for following up on the challenge that Sean, aka ChilliChump, has issued. Here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's not hitting me yet. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Very, very hot. Not a whole lot of flavor. Building. Very, very strong heat. My whole tongue.
It's just hot. Very chinenzy.
It's starting to go to my ears.
Just the whole mouth for me.
for me, it's still mostly on my tongue.
Yeah. It's now down my lips.
Back of the throat. Thing is wicked hot. Oh, not much flavor to the pepper at all. I mean, you have that Chinense flavor, but very mild flavor. Just a whole lot of heat.
Definitely nice to kick up with the heat and the sauce. Well, Sean, I think it's now on you.
All right.
All right. Peace, bro.
Stay spicy.
The last live stream, Sean said he knew I was growing some super hots, and I've just been down to the allotment and picked one of my Reaper Dougalas. I'm only having half because I don't want to die, but I figure it's only fair because I've been enjoying Sean in pain for years. So here goes. Oh no. I think this might be a bad idea. The taste is actually a lot nicer than I was expecting, but it doesn't take long for the heat to hit. It hits in a big way. Back of the throat, which is coming into the entire mouth. My eyes are watering already. My tongue is on fire. Oh, I've never had anything like this. Oh, it's like a bomb has gone off. Oh my God. Oh, that is pain. That is just pain. Lightheaded. My eyes. I'm quite dizzy. Oh my God. Everything is actually tingling. My hands are tingling, my arms are tingling. My face is going numb. Oh my God. I can't feel my arms. I have got some milk. I want it to go as long as possible. Oh God, this is a world of pain. Oh my God. Oh, this glass of milk is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I think it might be starting to subside. Oh, it's not subsiding properly. It's coming in waves. My mouth. Okay, I think it is subsiding. Partly due to time and partly due to the milk. I have never experienced an endorphin rush like that. What a feeling. Wow.
Oh, that was good. JB, it looked like you were contemplating life there for a little bit, mate. It's quite interesting, the two different reactions you guys had, Adrian and Paul and JB, because I think that was exactly the same pepper, right? But wow. Yeah, I haven't had one yet. I have got some fresh ones. I don't know, Khang. This is a F4 cross. So I don't know if you've got it. It's from Fatali. It was in the ChilliChump seed kit. It looks pretty. It's a nice chocolate color, but I've heard differing reports about its tastiness. Whether it's like Paul and Adrian were saying, doesn't taste very good. But JB thought it was pretty good. So
JB, that was great. What a champ. Paul and Adrian too.
Paul and Adrian just took it. I don't know how you handle those heats. But
They look normal.
yeah, well, the reaction that we get there. Thanks for the donation there, Adrian. The reaction though from JB, it just makes me think I want you on one of my videos, mate. Because if you think that's hot, I mean that is a hot chili, but when you start pushing it up beyond the million Scoville, that's a whole different ball game. Wow. Now, thank you guys for those videos, and if anybody wants to send in more videos, I can't guarantee I can play all of them because there's a limit of time that I have. But please send them in. At least I will be watching them, and we will try and get a couple on each live stream. It's always good to see what you guys are getting up to, and also avoids me having to get into too much pain. So yeah, thank you for that. So Khang, there's obviously a few more questions here. Have they got hidden somewhere? Where are my questions? There we go. Something about gardening asks, I want to cross all species in a pattern. Do you think this would be a bad idea in the future if I'm successful with it? I'll leave you to that because I don't know what he exactly means. All species in a pattern. So I'm guessing he's saying like cross a capsicum frutescens with a capsicum annum, and then the result of that, cross that with the chinense, and then the result of that, cross that with the pubescens. I don't know. I mean, that would take about 20 years, I would say.
Wow.
Especially if you want to get it to F8 generation on each, right?
Challenge. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's gonna work. I guess you're gonna have to go with a chart to see which is compatible first, and then go with that. Yeah, I mean, I've never done it, so I wouldn't even know.
It's an interesting concept. It's like the typical question. I mustn't tease people for this because I had the exact same thought when I first started thinking about crossing. Hey, what about taking a Carolina Reaper and crossing it with a bell pepper? We can make really large Carolina Reapers. It's not exactly how it works. So, but there's some great ideas, and I mean, anything's possible. There's so many different varieties out there. I think a lot of people focus so much on trying to get the hottest chili, they don't realize there's so much more to chilies than just the heat, right? There's some beautiful flowers, peppers, the plants themselves, the tastes. There's just so much going on. If you are going to do crosses, yeah, go for the super hots if you want, but also cross a few of the less hot ones as well, because that can be fun too. Daniel Katzman asks, will ChilliChump and Khang do a live stream when they're in the same room? A chili summit.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we've got to get Peter involved in that one too, and for audio, for the music, we've got to bring the 7-Pot Club, right? So
yes, definitely. I love
that'd be
Rob.
awesome. Yeah, Rob is great. Rob is a legend. I've been watching him. I actually think it's weird. I don't know why his channel isn't bigger. I think I said this to you the last time. He's so quirky. Mm-hmm. I know he's not for everyone, but he is so quirky, and he puts his heart into everything he does, and he grows some amazing chilies.
He does.
But yeah, you guys are all in America, so I'd have to come out to America, I guess, because although I have got the space, so if you guys want to come here, then
holiday to America.
Mr. ChilliChump wants to do a holiday to America. But that would be cool, wouldn't it? That would be really nice, actually.
That would be very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Rob is I'm not sure why his channel is not as big as you mentioned. He's a great person, really, really nice. I love when he does those videos where he narrates stuff, and it's just his voice is just great.
it's everything. It's so professionally done as well. Hopefully he'll. I think a couple of his videos will pick up at some point. They'll get picked up by the algorithm, and he'll get a boost. But I talk about him a lot. I battle. I have the personality where I cringe very easily, and when I watch people singing, because I know he's got balls to do what he does, right? I mean, to sing on YouTube like he does, that takes balls. But I can't watch too much of it. but I do still push him on on my channel, and I think he's great. So if you guys are not subscribed to 7 Pot Club, go and subscribe to Rob, because he is awesome, and Peter as well. I know he's doing quite well. He's growing gradually, slowly, but he's another one that he grows some amazing plants, and he's got a very chilled out approach, and great videos as well. So
Yeah, definitely Peter.
Yeah.
I watch all of Peter's videos.
Oh, as well. Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. Sorry, I just saw the donations coming through. So Grolsch wants you to eat a Reaper Cross. So Grolsch, Peter, we did discuss this a little bit before the live stream started. If we did this chat where we both ate a super hot, I don't think it would make a lot of sense, but it would be entertaining. One day maybe. We'll see if we can.
I don't know. That may have to end the stream early, because everyone knows that I can't handle the super hots.
Listen, I'm no hero when it comes to super hots. I can handle heat, but they kill me as well. That 7-Pot bubblegum. Just go watch that video. There's no hiding when those super hots come out to play. There's no hiding from it. You can't fake it. So I've got a couple more questions here. Let's get through a few here. I don't want to keep you too late. I know you got your Sunday to get to, and I know other people as well have got their Sundays to get to. So Gardener Greenleaf says, are you guys going to be simultaneously eating a super hot today? No, we just said no. But maybe in the future. We'll see. Louis Brazo, with the cold weather coming, how low a temp can the peppers take? So in my experience, and Khang, you can feed in on this as well, but I try and keep things above 5 degrees Celsius, or I'm trying to think Fahrenheit. It's a few degrees above freezing, because basically the roots, if they freeze, the plant will die, because the chili plants just can't handle that. But temperature above ground can actually get below freezing, as long as the soil doesn't. The plant can last. So if you've got some peppers that are still trying to ripen up, they'll continue to ripen even if you're getting snow on the ground, right? Because the soil is likely to be a little bit warmer than the surroundings. So I don't know if you had any feedback on that one.
Yes, usually there are certain varieties that can withstand colder temperature better. Like the ahi varieties can go really low. I had a few frost nights, and once they warm up, the plant is just fine. But usually when it drops down to below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, that's probably it for the pepper plants. They're just not going to grow much. They may not die, but for extended period, they will die. So usually around 50 degrees is when I dig them out if I need to overwinter them, cut them back and bring them inside if those are the plants I want to keep.
Yeah.
But you're right, they will continue to ripen up down to almost freezing temperatures.
Yeah, and like Nicholas has just mentioned in the comments, the peppers can freeze and go soft. They can, yeah. If the peppers themselves actually completely freeze, then it will kill the pepper and it will start bruising and it'll become soft and useless pretty much. But if you get around the freezing level, typically the pepper should be able to survive that. But yeah, for me, anything, as soon as it starts being below 5 degrees Celsius constantly, which is around about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when I know it's pretty much over. And for us, that's luckily with the greenhouse, that's like late October. So, have a little bit of time left, but not long. Paul T. Mack asks, where'd you go? Have you found that certain traits are more tied to the plant the pollen comes from or the plant that's been fertilized? That's quite an interesting one. So the male and the female plant when you're crossing. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, that's very interesting. So I'm not, I don't know much about the science of that, but I do know that there's certain traits that would carry over because they're more dominant, like the red color. Red for sure is always the dominant trait. So when you cross anything with a red chili, most generation is going to be red. And then somewhere down the line, 5 or 6 generations, if you grow multiple plants, then they'll come out with the recessive colors.
So when you're saying cross, so the male being the red, or the female, the receiving being the red?
I think the both. either the pollen or the flowers. They're just going to be red if that's the main
Yeah.
trait.
Yeah. To be honest, I mean, to go back to Paul's question, I think it depends on the plant. It's not like, the pollen is, the plant that is providing the pollen is necessarily going to have, it's going to bring across the leaves and the, the flower size. It doesn't work like that necessarily. I think it really just depends most of the time on how stable the varieties are.
Yes.
A more stable variety is going to bring across more stable properties. That's the way it is. So for me, the Peri Peri Lemon Drop, I know when I started those seeds, they were already stable seeds. They're already past F8. And I've had them for more than 8 years, and I've been interbreeding them with themselves. So I know how stable that variety is. And I know I've got the genes and the properties of it that I really want. With the Lemon Drop, I can't be guaranteed of that. I've only grown that about 2 seasons by the time I crossed it. So, yeah, I think it does work a little bit like that. The more stable the one plant is, that's what's typically going to come through a bit stronger. It might change later on in further generations, but I think up front. That's an interesting one. So Kelly asks, Kelly Woodruff, what's the KSLS parental lineage? So what are the two peppers?
The lemon starburst, it started like you said, I grew the MOA Scotch bonnet for a long time, and I also grew the Bahamian goat for a long time. Those are my top list of all my favorite variety, and those are two of the most beautiful and great tasting peppers out there. And I had a lot of free time and interest in crossing, so I was like, wow, these are my two favorites. Let's join them up and see what happens. So over the years, I just grow them, I isolate them, and then that's when I start crossing them. So that's the lineage right there. The MOA Scotch bonnet with the Bahamian goat.
Okay.
And that's why sometimes they're yellow and sometimes they're orange, because that's how I got the two colors, because I grow so many of them.
Okay. Yeah, the Scotch bonnet is not a favorite of mine, but I must say that your cross is actually a very tasty chili. Not bad at all. Just to let guys know in the chat, I have opened up a giveaway. I will be giving away a bottle of my Blazing Buffalo Extreme. If you are in Europe, I am sending it out there. Just realize that there may be some issues like you might have read about on my website. But I'll do my best to make sure it gets to you without having any extra charges, and I'll sort out any charges that come through. So it's open to anyone that's in the chat if you want to enter that giveaway. Sorry about that, Khang.
No problem.
So Butts MN asks, is there a way to softly force the plant to roughly ripen all the pods at once?
You cannot, but you can do a few things that will help them quickly ripen up. So pepper plants are a little bit strange sometimes. Normally, it'll take around 4 to 5 weeks before the plants will start to mature and ripen up. If your plant just remain green for so long, what I found that would help is if you take the oldest pod on the plant, if you know which one it is, and pull it off. And as soon as you do that, the plant would send the signal to say, okay, I'm kind of ready. So they'll start to kind of mature up and then ripen up quickly. So any signs that you see that one is ripe, pull that one off, and it'll continue down the next and the next and the next. So you get a batch instead of 1 or 2 at a time.
That's a good bit of advice. I haven't heard that one before. That's a good one. I typically force it. So basically, I try and just replicate nature a little bit. I try and cool things down a bit. Because the plant is going to feel, oh, wait, it's cooling down.
Yeah.
We need to get ripened up because we need to get those seeds out before it starts freezing. So that does force it a bit. When the temperatures do start dropping, you'll notice your chilies start putting out pods. So I normally put that near a vent in my greenhouse, and I'll have a fan near it, and that if I need to quickly ripen up anything. But that's some good advice, though. Thank you. I'll take that on as well. So pick the older pods, the ones that are very ripe or maybe beyond ripe, pick those off, and it'll force others.
Yeah. If you notice, when you don't pick the pods, they're very slow to ripen up. So if you pick that one, it'll go to the next one very, very fast.
Okay. I've noticed, So I have there's some sweet peppers, and I've been snacking on them a lot when I go into my greenhouse. Not Ramiro, but they're similar to that. Oh, wish I could remember. But the first bunch of them, they were ripening so quickly, and I was getting these beautiful big pods that I can go and snack on. They tasted exactly like sweet apples, and then I'd finished them, and I was a bit upset. But I could see there's some new pods coming through, and it's probably taken a month and a half for them to even start ripening up. It's really painful, but I think it's just me being greedy, eating all the lovely chilies. So this is one you must get this a lot in your chat. So Deadly0101 asks, has Khang tasted the Pepper X? I get questions about the Pepper X all the time, and let me hear your side of it. What do you think of the Pepper X?
What I hear is that what I've read about it. That's about it. I mean, all I know is that they make a hot sauce and they use the Pepper X. Other than that, I've never seen it in the wild. I've never seen anyone grow it, and I don't think anyone has ever tasted live on TV that I've seen before. So I know nothing about it.
It does worry you a little bit. We all know. I mean, when the Carolina Reaper came out, I followed that before it was called the Carolina Reaper. It was the HP 3102 or something, or some code name that it had for like 3 years before it came out. And everybody was talking about this new hottest chili. And, when eventually it got named, and, as soon as they were possible to sell seeds, they went crazy with it. And there were videos of people tasting it. Everybody was battling to get seeds. The first year especially was difficult. I mean, you're paying like £10 for 3 seeds. It was ridiculous. Yeah. So if the Pepper X, I'm just putting 2 and 2 together here. If the Pepper X is real, or if it's viable, or if there's actually a mature pepper called the Pepper X with the qualities that have been promised, it would be everywhere. Yeah. Everybody would be talking about it. I know there's a few Brazilian growers that are claiming to have the Pepper X seeds, but I mean, they turn out to be Scotch bonnets or something like that a lot of the time. I don't know. I think people need to be cautious. Just be careful. If people are claiming to be selling Pepper X, just do a bit of research. The first person that will sell them will be Ed Curry. There's no two ways about it. Ed Curry will have them on his website, and he'll be selling them. That's exactly what happened with the Carolina Reaper. It was him and what is his name? Pepper Joe. Yeah. Pepper Joe and Ed Curry, and they were the exclusive holders of that seed for the first 2 years. Nobody else was allowed to sell them, and then obviously they got out.
Yeah, you also have to be very careful, because when I first purchased that Carolina, Reaper seeds back in the day, when they first, released it, it came out looking just like a ghost pepper. So it's very early in the generation. So that's a lot of the complaints back then. Like, hey, this does not look like a Carolina Reaper, but it actually is. It's probably because of the early generations where it just doesn't have a consistent shapes.
Yeah, and that's something I'm taking a bit of a leaf from your books. I'm stealing your idea a little bit here, but the seeds from my peri peri lemon drop, which I'm calling the lemon peri. Mm-hmm. I will be putting those out for free, right? Again, it's, obviously I need to make money doing what I'm doing for reasons, that are obvious. But there are certain, things. The lemon peri, it's my baby. It's the same as you probably feel about your crosses. And I want to get them out there, right? But I won't do that until they're ready. There's no way I'm going to be putting out the F1 or F2. Yeah. It's pointless, because they're going to branch off into 100 different varieties at that point. I want to control that until they start being stable. Once they're stable, beyond F5, F6, preferably F8, then you know what you're actually getting. That's, this is the chili, this is the seeds. And they didn't do that with the Carolina Reaper. There was a bit of greed involved, and they released it a bit too early. Yeah. There's a lot of controversy about that. If people are bored on a Sunday, you can go and look up Pepper Joe. He put out some videos, and there were so many complaints with people growing these chilies, and they ended up being Butcherlokia, and obviously the big controversy was about it actually just being a 7-pot primo. So interesting times that was. It's amazing how much drama about a little plant, right? Here's another one that's quite interesting, and I've I've looked into this quite a lot. I've tried this chili, the Dragon's Breath. So there's a question here basically, do you think the Dragon's Breath or the Pepper X will be officially recognized first? Now, the Dragon's Breath, I'm again a little bit in two minds about. I've grown that chili. I was provided it by a vendor. And it is a hot pepper. But whether it's a new pepper or not, that's the question. Whether people just renaming, a hot variety they happen to get that year. I don't know. I hope it's real, because obviously it keeps the hobby going, right? You want to keep these new peppers, interesting peppers coming out. But I've heard too many other stories about it. I don't know if you've tried it or if you've heard much about the Dragon's Breath.
Yes, I actually have tried it. It's very, very spicy, as you said. I haven't actually grown it because I didn't really like the way it looks that much. And there's so many other ones that are similar that taste better that I would prefer more. But maybe one day I'll just grow it just to see what it is, So there's a lot of talk about it recently.
Yeah, it just there seems to be a certain route that gets followed every time there's a new hottest pepper. X university has tested this, and this grower who is at this university or that university has, optimized this for heat. And it's like, great, you start mentioning university names. That doesn't mean it's legitimate. It just means, that somebody who went to university is growing a pepper. But I don't know. Like I said, it'd be great if it was legitimate, because it was a seriously hot chili. Ridiculously hot, actually. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for that. But again, it's one of those that there'll be a lot more talk about it. There's only a few articles back in the day when they're trying to push it from a commercial perspective, and I haven't really heard too much recently about it. No official testing. There's no Guinness records, anything like that. Let's ask one more, because I know we're getting close to the end, almost close to 6 o'clock here. So let's see. So Sub Dave, he says, I grew the KS Peach Starkist for the first time this season. They look correct, but are very hot, but not sweet at all. I've heard that they're very sweet and a medium hot. Is it possible that it's a cross or something that's not been isolated?
It could be all of that, but also, sometimes where your climate can grow something that's much more spicy than mine when I grow the exact same thing. So that could be the factor as well. But it depends on, again, where you get the seeds from, and if the person that gave it to you isolated them, or not. And it could all be those as factors. I'm not too sure. Like for example, I'm growing poblano, the one that you suggest we should grow, and my poblano came out not very big, but there's like 20 pods of them. They're so productive, and they came out chocolate.
All right.
Yeah. I need to show it to you, but I mean, this pepper has so many peppers that it's pulling the branch over, and it's just hanging over to the side of the pot of my pot because there's just so many poblano peppers on it.
So, have you got a contender for the competition?
Definitely not. They're small. They're not very big. They look exactly like a poblano, but they're just a lot smaller, and they're chocolate at the end. I mean, I left the pot on the plant until they're shriveled up and everything, and that's the last color.
The poblano is quite interesting. Because I actually weighed mine last week, so for the competition. So if anybody that's watching, if you are entering the poblano competition, make sure you get your entry in by the end of this month. But I did weigh mine. It's not bigger than what people have submitted me. Wow, there's some big ones. There's some beasts. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting was the one that I weighed. I tasted it, and it was really sweet. There was no heat to it at all. But earlier part of the season, on the exact same plant, I ate one that had ripened, and it was spicy. But it really does go to show that, depending on how you're growing, how you're stressing your plant and things like that, I really think that has a big factor in how hot things will be. I haven't had the biggest harvest in the world this year, but the pods that I have been picking, the amount of capsaicin oil inside them. I posted up some pictures on Instagram. It's insane. I thought it was water. I thought it was water that got inside the pepper. It was dripping out when I took some 7-pot primos out. But again, it's because they're so stressed with the growing conditions that I've had. So yeah, it definitely does make a difference, I think. So I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I can hear your child in the background.
Yeah,
I think she wants daddy. But Khang, it's been amazing having you back again. Thank you so much for coming back. And we're going to have to make a plan for the next one. We're going to have to do a bit of chili eating or something. We're going to have to do something.
But it has to be sweet.
I'll have a sweet one. You can have a hot one. And we'll see how that goes. But no, it's been amazing having you on. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I know that the guys in the chat are going to have loved seeing you on here as well. And yeah, make sure if you aren't subscribed to Khang, which I doubt any of you aren't, but if you aren't, go and subscribe because he has some amazing videos. But thank you, Khang, so much for joining today. It has been awesome as always, and I'll get in touch with you later on.
Okay. Thank you, Sean.
My friend.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You guys have a great day.
Fantastic. Oh, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. You know, for me, I love just having a chat with Khang. Being able to do it on a live stream and have your guys' questions come through as well. That's awesome. And he's very gracious with his time. I think it was 11 o'clock there, but I know a lot of you are also early in the morning. I just realized my face is about as red as these things behind me. I have no idea why, because I haven't been eating anything spicy. So I'm going to start looking at some questions. It's difficult when I am speaking with a guest. Obviously, I can't look at the chat too much, so apologies if I've missed anything. I know that Mrs. CC has taken down some questions, so I'll try and get into those. Let me just pull them up, and we'll try and do a rapid fire shoot through some of the questions there, because I know we got the giveaway still going on at the moment. So sorry we couldn't get through to all the questions for Khang Starr. There were quite a few in there. What I'll try and do is do maybe another video, and I'll go through rapid fire on these questions as well myself, just so I can get through them, just a separate video if that's interesting for you guys. I saw there were a couple donations that came through as well. Murdog, thank you so much, sir. And AJ Lau, awesome, thank you as well. That is really appreciated. So questions, have you been making notes? You have been making notes, thank you. So Murdog04 asks, is Sean's cross going to get an isolated pod to produce seeds? I saw the Checking Out Chilies episode, but wasn't sure if he had isolated a pod that will for sure have seeds. Yes, I have three pods at the moment, and there's a few more that are coming through that are isolated, and I've got 2 that are ripe, so I've got quite a few seeds. I'll be more than fine. I'm planning to my lemon peri. If you guys aren't aware of this, I did my cross. Finally, I was able to taste one of the chilies from my lemon drop cross peri peri, and I don't need that anymore. Oh, that's weird. With the cross that I had, I finally got a lemon peri to taste, and very pleased with it. So go watch that video if you want to see what it looks like and that. The new pods that are coming through are obviously bigger. The one that I had, I was just a little bit impatient, and I wanted to have one that had come through early, and that was a bit of a smaller one, but the other ones are a bit bigger. The seeds that are from that, I want to grow at least 20 plants from that in the next season, and I'll be doing some selective growing. So basically I'll grow 20 plants, and I'll choose which one is the most productive, which one is growing quickest, which one is most leaf, foliage, early to fruit, that sort of thing, and the qualities that I'm really looking for from this plant, and I will choose an isolated pod from that and move on to the next generation. So I'll keep you I'll keep you informed on all that on my videos. So there's no pencil command, guys. Lawn Dog, how much does the ground for your soil composition have? How much does the ground for your soil composition have on the flavor of the pepper? So I'm guessing how much effect does it have? Any experiments in this direction influencing flavor by soil composition? Yes. So I think I mentioned this a couple times now. We'll be doing quite a few experiments. Obviously, the whole point of us moving to a bigger place is obviously to have more plants, but it's also to be able to do a lot more of the experiments that I've been wanting to do. When you're limited with space, there's only so much you can do each season. I have a lot of space now, which means I can do a lot of the experiments I've been planning to do. So yes, I will be doing an experiment with, well, there's two big experiments that I have planned for next year. The one I can give away now, that is going to be obviously comparing compost, soil composition, so different types of compost, whether that's vermicompost, normal compost, homemade stuff, back guano, chicken compost, a bunch of other things. I will be doing some experiments there, but the second one, kind of in that area as well, but a little bit more impressive and bigger scale. So keep an eye out for that. I'm super excited for that. I have planned for it. It's going to be a hell of an investment. All the donations that you guys are putting through on the chats and that, all that money goes towards these sort of experiments, and you guys are so kind with these donations. It really means a lot. But just so you know, that's where that money goes. It goes straight back into being able to produce content for you guys. So as long as you know where that money is going, but you'll see the fruits of that next year, and hopefully you've seen in the past years as well. I want to believe, are you growing chilies during the winter with supplemental light instead of pruning them? I did this last year and I'm doing it this year. Maybe there's a couple ideas I have with growing over the winter. I'm more interested. So this year has been a bit tough. Obviously, if you guys have been watching my update videos, you'll know it's not been the best season for a bunch of different reasons. And I just want to reset. I want to press that big reset button and start again. I've learned a lot about where I'm growing now, the setup that I have, all the different spaces that I have around the property that we're in now, and it's going to really help me out for next season and really get me hitting the ground running next season. But, I have to wait till next season. I don't want to really overwinter too many of my plants this year. There's one or two that I do maybe because they were very impressive plants, but otherwise, no, not really going to be growing over winter in my potting shed, for example. Pavel Popper, that's a good question. ChilliChump, what about your Bonchi? How's it going? I think, so, a bit of news. We're going on a little bit of a break in the next little while. We're going to be going away and chilling out for a bit. But before we do, I have a pretty special video for you guys. A little while back, I did a video of a few special guests eating some chicken wings. So I'm editing that video this week, and that'll be going out this Friday. And it's I'm looking forward to that. I filmed it, God, what was that, 2 months ago?
No, it was your birthday.
September. Wow, yeah, it was 2 months ago.
It wasn't 2 months ago, a month and
a bit. So we filmed it on my birthday, actually. And good video. But I'll be putting that out. I am also going to be filming, if I have time this week, I'll be filming a video on the Bonchi. So the two Bonchi are going very well. They are a bit overgrown at the moment, so I need to do some pruning on them and shape them. But they are doing extremely well. Lots of pods on them, actually, as well. But those are two plants that will be coming indoors. I already have a space set up for them in the house. And I think I got a permission, didn't I?
Do we?
I did.
Where?
At the chessboard. It said on the front.
Okay.
I'm gonna get in trouble just now. The Bonchi, they're pretty little. Come on. But yeah, I'll have those under some lights inside the house, and they're both doing really well. Such a great idea. If you guys are wanting to overwinter, but you're not wanting to really overwinter, how about creating a Bonchi? You'll really enjoy it. Have it indoors. So very cool. I just saw a note there from Mr. ChilliChump. There was an issue with the contact form. It should be fixed now. If you guys are having problems getting in contact with me from our website, so chillichump.com/contact. If you're having problems getting through to me on that, just, let me know. Send me a message through the contact form. No, you can send me a message on Instagram or Facebook if you aren't getting through to me. But please, if you do want to ask me a question or something, you can do it through the website. That's the best way for it. I get a ton of correspondence from you guys, and I have to try and manage how that works. Using Instagram and Facebook is not the best way to be doing that. So through email, yeah, that kind of works well. So the contact form for email, that's a good way to do it. 1,000 Mikey, would you ever consider an autopot system? Possibly, but I've developed my own little systems that work. I'll be interested to try the autopot. If the people who make them want to send me some to try, I'm more than happy to try it out. But I haven't really had a big urge to go and buy them because the systems that I've built have done the job. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised by using an autopot, but I just can't justify that expense. It can be quite expensive when you're trying out all these different things. So yeah, if the autopot guys do want to send me some, and I will give it a very honest review. If they think it's as amazing as a lot of you guys seem to think it is, then obviously that'll come through in the video. So we'll see. Sauces. So you guys will be making a lot of sauces, hopefully, at this time of year. Hopefully you've had a good harvest this year. So there are a few questions there. Something about gardening is asked. Ask him if he's making some crystal spike hot sauces. Something about gardening. Yes. I don't know. You might need to wait a little bit. I'm working on some experimenting with the crystal spike. So something about gardening sent me seeds for the crystal spike. I've just gone and isolated a few of them. So I will be growing them on next year. The plant did really well. It's quite an interesting little plant. It looks almost like an ornamental, but the pods are very juicy, quite spicy as well. I might do a sauce with them, but this year it'll more likely be experimental, something I'm experimenting with. For every sauce you guys see, every video you guys see of me making a sauce, there's another 20 or 30 that I've done behind the scenes to get to that point. I'm not just, getting out on a video and, yeah, here we go, making a sauce for the first time. There's a bit of experimenting that goes into it, because obviously a lot of you are going to be copying what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that you get a good result out the back of it. Naya Sayed, have you ever tried fermenting peppers in alcohol and made a hot sauce with it? Not a good idea. There's two different fermenting processes, so a lot of people get confused with this. I probably did way back when I started doing lacto fermentation, but lacto fermentation and fermentation with alcohol, number one, lacto fermentation is with bacteria. Fermentation for alcohol is with yeast. Very different. Secondly, lacto fermentation is the process whereby you're converting sugars into lactic acid and CO2. That's what the bubbles are coming off when you're doing the fermentation. And the acidity, which is dropping the pH, that's the lactic acid, and which is why we get these amazing sauces we make. When you're fermenting with alcohol, or you're making alcohol by fermenting yeast, you're taking the sugars, you're converting them into alcohol and CO2. So kind of a similar process, except you get an alcohol in one and you're getting lactic acid in the other. So yeah, two different processes. If you're asking, am I adding alcohol to sauces? Have I tried that? Yes, I have. Jack Daniel's is a good one, mainly because the Tabasco company, they use Tabasco sauce. They use Jack Daniel's barrels. So the used barrels, when they've made Jack Daniel's whiskey, they take those barrels and that's what they ferment their chilies in. And that's nothing to do with the alcohol. It's more about just the flavors, the smokiness of the wood, the charring on the inside, and the flavors from the alcohol and all that sort of thing. That's more about that, the flavors. But yeah, alcohol, I mean, you can infuse alcohol if you want. I've seen that happen a few times. You can make a gin with some chilies in it, or vodka with some chilies in, rum. But yeah, it's not something I typically do very often. Let's see, some more sauce questions. Do you have any plans to make any pain in the butt sauce this year? It's my favorite hot sauce so far. Johnny, you're in luck. Was that a plant? Did you make that one?
No.
So the next sauce I'll be doing, and actually I did speak with a couple of my patrons about this. The next sauce I am going to be putting up in the store is my pain in the butt. There's a bit of a challenge in getting some of the vinegar and some of the other ingredients I need. If you guys aren't aware, in the UK at the moment, there's some problems. Our energy provider has just gone bankrupt 2 days ago, and there's another 9 or so energy providers that have gone bankrupt because there's some serious problems with things like that. Brexit has started to rear its head, I think, a little bit here, and a few other things, which means there's some supply chain problems as well beyond just energy and gas and things like that. Getting hold of certain things has been quite difficult, but I think I've sorted it out, and I'm hoping that I'll have Pen in the Butt in the store. Oh, probably when we get back from holiday. Yeah, I was just going to say we're on holiday soon. Yeah, it won't be next week. I'd love to say it next week, but probably when we get back from holiday, that'll be the first sauce I'm making, and I'll be back in the store because it is actually a favorite of mine. It's got a perfect blend of the heat and the flavors, and it's a good all-rounder. It's just enough heat to make you cry, but enough flavors to make you smile. So let's see, any more here?
There's
Where's
been a
the
few
sauce?
donations.
Have they? Oh, my apologies. Jimmy Pickles Pepper Channel, thank you for your donation. That's very kind of you. I think I've had a look at your channel before. I think I have watched a couple of your videos, actually. Liv Teroy, I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you for your donation as well. That is very awesome. Dead Cold Paranormal, very awesome to see you on here as well. We've had a little chat on Facebook, so good to see you on. Actually, go and have a check. Go have a look if you like the spooky stuff. He's actually got a very cool channel, Dead Cold Paranormal. I'm giving him a bit of a shout out here, but it's worth it. It's interesting, especially if you live in the UK and you're interested in those sort of things. Quite an interesting little channel. So anything more on the sauce here? There are a few more. Viola Bloke. I did see this comment actually a little bit earlier. Tried my first vacuum bag fermentation, just a small one, 100 gram of Nagas, 3% salt with a garlic clove. The bag didn't puff up though. Any idea why? Should I discard it? So not every fermentation is going to be as active as every other, right? Some fermentations are going to be far more active than others. I've had fermentations blow up. If I'm doing a vacuum seal fermentation, I've had them blow up within 3 days massively. But sorry, I'll read that in a sec. But with some chilies, they don't produce as much CO2. Now, that could be down to a few things. Maybe they don't have as much sugar inside them. So some chilies, like especially some of the super hots, their focus isn't really on sugar, so there isn't much sugar in there, and it's not going to produce as much, but it still is fermenting. The real trick there is just to make sure there are some bubbles coming through, and just make sure there is some activity in there. Make sure you have it at the right temperature, and make sure you're using fresh, ripe peppers. But yeah, don't expect it to blow up every time. It's not going to happen. Make sure you test it after you've finished fermenting and before you add any other ingredients. Make sure you test the pH. Make sure that it's below about 4.2, 4.0. Strictly speaking, 4.6 and below should be fine, but you just want to go with margin of error. So below 4.0 is where I actually aim for. Did see a comment. Kilo the Architect, are you doing another Blazing Buffalo next year? I did a Blazing Buffalo this year. Blazing Buffalo, are you talking about the plain Blazing Buffalo? I will be doing one of those. The Blazing Buffalo Extreme was far more popular, so I ended up making that a batch of that instead. And that's what's in my store at the moment, so it is available. There's quite a few of those. That one was by far the most popular because it had a lot more heat than the basic Blazing Buffalo. I will do another Blazing Buffalo, and I'll test the market again. I don't want to talk myself out of business here, but there are a lot of very good Louisiana-style sauces that are going to be a lot cheaper to get hold of. So, I will do it, and I know mine tastes really good. But if you like that basic cayenne-style sauce, then Frank's is decent. I think Crystal is decent as well, for a commercial type of sauce. But try out the Blazing Buffalo Extreme if you haven't tried that one yet. Roel Mayermans. I have a lot of orange habaneros. Any idea with the sauce for a sauce with them? Yeah. How about my habanero ketchup that I did the other day? I think it was 2 videos back. That was a really good sauce. The spices that I used in that, I did see in my Facebook group that a few people were moaning about quite a lot of cumin in there. I do like cumin. If you want to reduce the amount of cumin, it's up to you, but I think it really is a very complementary spice when it comes to the other flavors that I had in there, especially with the habanero and the heat that habanero has. The hotter the habanero, the better the cumin tastes. It's weird to explain that one, but give it a try. If you have really hot habaneros or you want to add a few more, you'll see that it pulls out a lot of the flavors of that cumin. I would say that's a good sauce to do if you don't want the tomatoes in it. Experiment a little bit with some of the other spices that I have in that sauce, and you should get some good stuff there. I did see another comment come through.
Yeah, there's a couple of donations as well.
Theodore, what did you think about the box against the All Blacks? Yankees looks very good. Happy to be a Wallaby supporter after that display. Yeah, Springboks. I'm a big rugby fan, rugby player all my life since I was about 6 years old. It's been a bit depressing watching the rugby for the last couple of years, but I don't know. Hopefully for the next World Cup, we'll be in a good position. See how that goes. Okay, let's see here. Let's do another couple sauce questions because I know you guys are going to be making sauces at this time of year, hopefully with your lovely chilies that you've grown. And Viola Bloke, I wouldn't discard it. Like I said, with your vacuum seal fermentation, just test the pH at the end. If it has reduced enough at the end, then you should be fine. If you are really worried about it, then just heat sterilize it. So just heat it up beyond about 85 degrees Celsius, and do that for about 10 minutes, and you should be okay.
He's donated to say thanks.
Oh, thank you. You've put a gardening one in sauce.
Have I?
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I'll answer it anyway. Die Sub Dave asks, do you ever overwinter plants by cloning them? No, I don't. I haven't really done that. I overwinter. Well, I actually show that in one of my videos. I think it was from 2 years ago. Essentially, I take the plants out and I molest them. Basically, I spray down the roots massively so that they're completely clean. Pot them up in fresh soil. I trim back the roots first, and then I pot them up into fresh soil in a smaller pot, and I'll overwinter in that. Gardener Greenleaf, will you be doing a pumpkin hot sauce this year? Yes, I will, and I'll be starting that actually this coming week. Man, I've got a busy week. I've got a couple of things to get done.
You better put it on your board.
Have to write that on the board. Pumpkin. I've got a board of everything I need to be doing over here. A to-do list. Pumpkin vid. Yeah, I've got something planned for Halloween, like I have the last couple of years. If you guys haven't seen it, I have done a couple of videos. I especially enjoyed the first one, and people haven't really noticed the little Easter egg that I've hidden in that video. Still. But yeah, had good fun on that. But yeah, I'll be doing it again. Got a massive pumpkin I need to weigh it this week, and I'll be starting that video this week. But yeah, definitely there'll be a pumpkin sauce coming. Be a very tasty one, actually. Janet Abramson, can I put a piece of broken oak barrel into fermentation for that smoky flavor? Absolutely. So I actually got sent some old whiskey barrels, and hopefully the chaps in the chat here. But I got sent some of these broken, small pieces of whiskey barrels, charred, and I'm still trying to think of how best to use them. But I will be doing something similar to what you're talking about. The challenge is to sterilize the wood without drawing out too many of the flavors before you're sterilizing it, and without burning the wood. So I'm trying to think that through how best to do it. I've got a few ideas of how to do it, and then yeah, absolutely, you put that into your fermentation and you'll draw out some lovely flavors. But the real trick there is you've got to sterilize that wood. It can harbor so many harmful pathogens, and the last thing you want to do is ruin a big batch of sauce by including all those pathogens. So you've got to get rid of those first, and you've got to do that in a way that's not going to pull the flavors out of it. Robert Connor, any plans on doing a BBXXX? That sounds like
Triple X.
a BB triple X. Yeah, so we got the BBX, which is the Blazing Buffalo Extreme. Blazing Buffalo Triple X. I did say I was going to make you a special one. I will still do it. I've got a few more I need to bottle up. So Yeah, I might do a limited range. Maybe just make about 20 of them. I know that Grolsch is already signed into the website, pressing refresh. But I'll make a limited edition XXX, just if people are interested in it. We'll see how hot it'll get for you guys. Sean Phillips, what fruit would go well with an Asian-inspired fermented Thai chili hot sauce to sweeten it up so my wife will try it? Have a look at my last sriracha video that I did. It's actually the basis of my sriracha sauce that I sell, which isn't in stock at the moment. That's going to be the one after the pain in the butt hot sauce that I'm doing. But I use tamarind paste. That adds a bit of sweetness. It's a very unique taste, but tamarind paste can add that sweetness that you may be looking for. It'll be subtle, and it'll add other flavors as well, so be careful how much you use because it's very, very strong stuff. But that could maybe be what you're looking for, and it is an Asian type of ingredient. So I think it could complement it quite well. So give it a try. Let me know. Mad Craig. Don't forget that erythritol kills dogs, so please set that straight in the stream. I demand it.
Don't give your dogs hot sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a comment I got. Listen, I appreciate it. I still read every comment. I might not be able to respond to every single comment I get. As the channel grows, obviously that's one of the side effects of it. I still read absolutely everyone, much to Mrs. ChilliChump's annoyance, because it takes up a lot of my time, but I still do read them. Some of the comments, however, are a little bit perplexing. I did get a comment saying on my last video where I used erythritol, which is it's a manufactured sugar, so it's good for you if you have diabetes and things like that, or if you're following a ketogenic diet, that sort of thing. And the comment was basically saying, you must tell people that erythritol will kill dogs. The guy was very adamant about it. Bottom line is, you shouldn't be giving your dogs hot sauce. That's just my thinking, but hey, what do I know? Anyway, although Robert Connor's dog seems to love chilies for some reason. He keeps eating them all off his plants. Yeah, wait till he tries one of your super hearts, Robert. That'll be interesting. Dr. Octopus, how has my experiment of labeling plants with NFC tags been going? Very, very well, and I will talk about that in about a month's time, actually, on the next live stream. There will be a big announcement there. It's been a lot going on behind the scenes. A lot of my patrons are getting involved, and if you aren't a patron and you want to get involved, there's a bit of beta testing going on at the moment, and if you want to see what's happening there and you want to get an early bit of access to that, then sign up either on Patreon or on YouTube memberships, and you can come and make sure it's on a tier that allows you onto the Discord server. And I'm having open access for anyone that is a member at the moment to have early access to this product. But like I say, I'll give more information about this a little bit later on the next live stream, and it'll make a bit more sense about what I'm saying here. But if you're interested in tech and you love your gardening, then it might be something you're interested in. Gardener Greenleaf, what was the chart you showed on your Friday video at 136, and where did you get it? Actually, I have a link to it. Where are we here? Somewhere around chilies. Here we go. So there's a site called The Chili Man, and the chart is actually on his site. It's been consolidated from a bunch of different sources, but essentially it's the same chart that is on a few other sites as well. And I actually link it. If you got in my original Crossing Chilies episode, you'll see it linked in the description. I have an image to it, and I have a link to the website, the exact place where you get a lot of information on Chili Crossing. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? Did I just go off the... Did I lose the questions? My mistake. Apologies. Okay. We're almost at the... Let's have a look here. Giveaway request. We've gone well over the time. My apologies, everyone. And you're probably all waiting here. I am going to pick the winner. I can't get through any more questions today. I'm really sorry. Before we pick a winner, I just want to thank my Facebook group administrators, Kelly, Ryan, Matt, and Paul. Actually, I'm missing a couple of people on there. Adrian is also on there as well. Thank you. Adrian has also been helping me a heck of a lot on my Discord server, so thank you for that. That is really appreciated. And on Reddit, Paul Curtis, still doing his thing. It's a lonely world out there, Paul, but I do appreciate it. The Reddit channel is growing slowly but surely. But go check it out if you are on Reddit. Go and subscribe to that. Time for picking a winner. Let's see who has won it. Please be someone in the UK. It'll make my life very easy. Crisis Dave. Crisis Dave. Where are you, Crisis Dave? I hope you're still on the chat. I would understand if you're not, because it has been going on for a long time. My apologies. Crisis Dave, are you in the chat still? If you aren't...
Don't like it.
No. Well, I'll make a plan. I might do another giveaway, or we'll consolidate giveaways a little bit later. But, Grolsch, no, you didn't win. So just quickly, I know guys are dropping off now. I did see there's a comment there, confused about Discord, Theodore. If you want some help getting on Discord.
He's on. He's
You are?
upgraded during the live chat.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, guys.
And also donated.
Thank you. That is awesome. To everyone that's donated, really appreciate it. You guys are super awesome, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I hope that you enjoyed this live stream. I know it's carried on a bit, but every time I have a chat with Khang, I could talk all day with him. It's just great to geek out in Chili's, and I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation as well. But thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, stay spicy, everyone.